Hello, everyone. This is Andrea Ayers. Welcome to today's live training. I am very excited to be chatting with you today, and thank you so much for making the time. We still have about 7 minutes or so before we get started, but in the meantime, as we are starting, I would love if you can all go ahead and sort of say hi to each other. There's a chat box here that you can all participate in. I'm gonna say hello to everyone as well. So go ahead and type it in here. Let me know if you can hear me too. I wanna make sure the sound is coming through loud and clear. So let me know if you guys are able to hear me. And I am going to make just my screen a little bigger here. And then we'll go ahead and get started soon. All right, so Ciara, you're saying you can hear me perfectly. Sandy, Cherie, Susan, Pam, Heather, hello. Valerie, hello. We have almost 500 people who have registered today, and I'm seeing that out of everyone who is taking the online poll, 92% of you have an online store and 8% of you plan on starting one soon. So we'll see how that shapes out with more people coming into the room here today. I am just very excited to be sharing this with everyone today. And yeah, go ahead, don't be shy. Go ahead and share a link to your online store here so we can all see what everyone is up to. So Allison, you are with Blue Turtle Studio. Hello, Doreen and Amanda. Jean, hello. Hey, Susie and Raquel. Hugh, Muge, I hope I'm saying this okay. Sierra with Manic Trout, of course. I love all that you're up to. Migraine Magic. Oh, that sounds really interesting. Something that a lot of people can use. And if you want to go ahead and put in the www, so that way we make sure that people can just easily click on it. I'm seeing Coastal Charms. Hey, Deb. Let's see. Oh, some really cool stuff here. I'm seeing some Etsy stores. Really cool. I'm having fun going through these as well. Oh, I love Susan. I think that's yours with his old boy. That's really cool. Oh, thank you, Susie. Yes, I'm so happy to be sharing this, and I haven't done live webinars for a few months now, so I'm happy to be back in the swing of things and to share all of this with you. And it looks like some of you know each other. Kristen, you know Pam. We're gonna have so much fun today. And we have about 70 people that are live in the room today. We have almost 400 registered, so we're gonna wait just a little bit more time for everyone to come in. And let's see, so the poll. So I put out a poll that you can see here in your chat room. It says, do you already have an online store? Now we are at 88% yes and 12% no. So keep filling that out, answer that if you have not yet already. And we'll see where we all are at the beginning here. Oh, June, you're saying you're revamping your site. Well, that's great. You are actually just in the right place because today we're going to talk about the 5 most important pages on your website. So let's see, Barbara, you have your website is Objuteria. I hope I'm saying that correctly. You have your own site and Etsy as well. Susie, you sharing your site too. Bethany, Tina. There's just so many awesome, talented entrepreneurs and products here. So I really encourage you to go check some of these out. Who knows, maybe you might find something that you actually really want to buy. And that's the whole point, is to support each other as we are waiting for other people to get going here and to start our presentation for today. And one other thing I wanted to say, Thank you, Barbara. One other thing I wanted to say is that if you, for some reason, are having trouble with my sound or the resolution on your screen, go ahead and log out and then come back in again and try either a different browser or sometimes usually just logging out and logging back in seems to fix the problem. So hopefully we won't have too much of that today, but sometimes that does happen. And I'm also going to be sending a replay after this. So if for some reason you're not able to stay on, the whole presentation is about an hour long. And then we also have about 30 minutes more or less for Q&As depending on how many questions everyone has. So I will be sending out a replay. However, I do encourage you to stay on until the end because I am giving a special download and a special gift to everyone who stays on until the end. And we have about just 2 more minutes before we get started here. And then we'll go ahead and start. I'm just super excited. I did the same training last week and it received such a great response, and I'm happy to be doing it again. I'm not sure if any of you from last week were on, but in case you were not, I didn't want you to miss anything. So we'll be covering all of that today as well. All right, 1 more minute, and then we are going to go ahead and start here. Oh, and I'm seeing Free Rain Farm, goat milk soap. I love soap. As some of you know, I'm seeing Peg Salt, Sonoma Champagne Savers. Oh, Frank, hey, I know we spoke before. Let's see. So many cool. Oh, Michelle, you're saying you're building your new site. So it seems that some of you, so let me look at the polls here. So 87% of you already have an online store, 13% of you don't, but plan on starting one soon. And it sounds like some of you are actually in the middle of a redesign. So you're definitely all in the right place here. We have just less than 1 minute before we officially get started here. And does my screen look okay? I changed my slides, so I want to make sure that all of you can see my slides now, and then we'll go, once you confirm that you are able to see my slides, we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so let's see. Are you all able to see my slides? Yes, yes, looks good. All right, so welcome everyone. Let's go ahead and officially get started here. This is your ultimate online store, how to increase your online sales without getting more traffic. I know this is something that all of us are always thinking about. So I want to make sure that you are in the right place. So if you have an online store selling physical products, and that's anything from food and soap to wine and accessories, apparel, jewelry, anything that you can physically hold in your hand or sell in a store or online, you are definitely in the right place if you want to increase your sales. And you're also in the right place if your sales haven't increased once you got more traffic. And I want to share one of my stories here in just a second, but the myth of, oh, just get more traffic and you're gonna get more sales is absolutely not true. More traffic absolutely can help, but that is not always the case. Or you're also in the right place if you don't have the money or time to spend on getting more traffic. I know Facebook ads are quite expensive, Google ads the same, and then also all of this getting traffic takes a lot of time. So you're also in the right place if you're already getting traffic and sales, but maybe you feel like you want more. You want a few more sales or a lot more sales. And you're also in the right place if you don't have an online store yet, but are thinking of launching one and want to know the best way to set it up from the beginning. So I'm looking at the poll here. So 13% of you on the call today don't have an online store, which is totally fine. That number just switched to 12%, but that is basically 1 out of 10 of people on the call today don't have an online store. So you're definitely in the right place because you are gonna know exactly how to set it up, at least your 5 most important pages from the beginning. So here's a little bit about me. I know some of you already are familiar with me, but in case you don't know me, my name is Andrea Ayers, and I am the founder of LaunchGrowJoy.com, which is how many of you ended up being on this call today. I founded a company called Tees for Change in 2007, and I ended up selling it in 2011. And the great thing about that is that I ended up having six-figure sales within 6 months of my launching. And then I founded Soaps to Live By in 2013, and then I ended up selling more than 6,000 soaps there within the first 9 months of launching. And I've also worked with thousands of happy students and clients and entrepreneurs worldwide since 2011. And I'm happy to be working with you here today as well. So here is what you are going to learn today. So we're going to talk about, first of all, why you need to have your own online store and why more sales is not about more traffic. And I'm all about Etsy. I love what they're doing. I love the platform that they're creating for entrepreneurs, especially handmade entrepreneurs. But there's a lot to be said about having your own online store as well. And we're also going to talk about the 5 most important pages on your website, and that is your home page, your about page, your contact page, your product descriptions, and your checkout process. Now, these are just 5 of the pages. As you know, there are a ton of other pages on your website too, but I wanted to bring attention to some of these because I feel like sometimes these are overlooked. And a lot of times what happens is we're so busy with taking photos and launching our product that we sort of forget that there are all of these different other pages and things that we need to do on our website. And I also mentioned this before, but I want to make sure you stay until the end because I'm going to have a product description worksheet that I want to share with you to really help you write those product descriptions in a way that really connects with your audience. And we're going to talk about product descriptions also in just a minute here, but I also have a great offer to save on my upcoming program. Whether or not it's the right program for you, you'll get to decide more a little towards the end, but I do have a great offer that I want to share with all of you here today. So are you all ready to talk about your online store? So if you're all ready, let me know. And before we go into the 5 most important pages on your website, I wanted to give you a quick story about my online store because it definitely was a learning process and it was something that didn't develop. It wasn't perfect the first time I launched it. So my first online store called Tees for Change, I launched in 2007. I designed it by me in HTML. I had learned how to do HTML. Now, this wasn't anything fancy. It was just the basics, but everything you see here, I did on my own. I Googled how to do all of this and ended up doing it. So as you can see, it was very simple, just 4 different t-shirts. Here on the home page, 4 navigation buttons like home, shop, about, and contact. Some more navigations buttons on the bottom. But as you can see, it was pretty simple, and it worked for me for a while. But in 2009, I felt that I was outgrowing my current HTML shopping cart, and I wanted to do something different. I wanted to accept payment methods other than PayPal, which is what my previous site was doing. And I ended up spending $3,000 or a little over $3,000 to work with a designer. And I hired a designer. She was really great. I loved her style. I was really proud of this website. And as you can see, it was quite a bit different from my previous website there. And this site had a bit more information. It had different photos. I ended up doing photos, as you can see here, with just the model without being able to see her head. So I was experimenting with a couple of things here. However, I also decided that I wanted to contact my customers and download my customer list and do a couple of other things with my customers. And I found that Zencart at that time in 2009 was very, very limited. So I ended up moving again to BigCommerce. I hired another designer a year later. And this was in BigCommerce. I paid $2,500 for it. As you can see, this design is even more robust. It's got more lifestyle photos. It's got inspirational quotes. It still has the same branding and the same logo that I was using here. as you can see, but it just had more features. It had in the news, a store locator, events, a blog, about us, contact us page. It had security seals on the bottom. It had social media buttons there. So you can see that this was definitely more robust. So now I want to ask you a question here. So if you were to look at all three of my websites, which version do you think had the highest conversions? And I'll give you just a second to type in. So go ahead and type in 1 for this one on the left, 2 for the middle one, and 3 for this blue one here that is on the right. All right, so some of you are saying middle one, number 2, number 3, number 2, number 1, 3, 3, 1. So yeah, so all of you are, are taking a guess. So I want to tell you what happened here before. Oh, Alicia, hi, I see you're on the call today as well. So I want to tell you what happened here. So I was about to launch this website, and the main reason I ended up going with this website is because I knew I had a major press mention that was coming soon. So I wanted to make sure that my site could handle all of the traffic. I knew with BigCommerce here that it automatically adjusts based on the traffic you get, so I didn't have to worry about my servers crashing or anything like that. So I let my designer know. I said, my t-shirts are going to be mentioned in a major magazine. This is my deadline. The site has to be absolutely live by that point. We can't be delayed. I'm expecting a ton of traffic and a ton of sales, and I want to make sure that that everything works out okay and that the new site is ready on time. So as you can guess by my headline, the unthinkable happened. When the magazine came out, my site was not ready, and I was working with this website right here, which was okay, but it's not what I was hoping. It's not the BigCommerce site that I was really hoping to have available when this press mention came out. So my designer disappeared. I said the deadline passed, the magazine came out, there's all this new traffic. My site could handle it. I was lucky that it could handle it, but my designer totally disappeared. I couldn't find her. She wasn't answering any of my phone calls, any of my emails, and I was a bit devastated. So the other thing that was a side effect of this is that I had all of this new traffic, but it was barely converting. And yes, yes, I had a 6-figure business still at that time, but based on the amount of traffic that I was getting from that magazine, it definitely was not the right conversion that I was looking for and that I knew that I could get. So that was definitely a huge and expensive lesson for me. And what I learned from that was that I had to change some things. So I finally got a hold of my designer. She was one of the designers that came recommended by BigCommerce as a design expert. So I reached out to BigCommerce. I told them what happened. I sort of complained. I said, this is not right. I'm paying her $2,500. She totally left me hanging. This is just not okay. So they got a hold of her. They sort of made her get in touch with me and finish my site. But as you know, that relationship was sort of done, and I couldn't really cooperate with her the way that I wanted to. But with my follow-up and persistence, the new site was ready just in time because I had another media mention that was about to come. So luckily, this new magazine mention, it was, as I mentioned, a huge magazine, and it sent approximately the same numbers of visitors to my new website, but now a much larger percentage of people were actually buying my t-shirts. And it's not like before where the conversions rates were really low. For this site, there were a ton more people buying. And the interesting thing is that my products were exactly the same. My prices were exactly the same. Everything, the photos were even the same, except for some of those lifestyle photos on the cover, or on the homepage. But all of the products, everything was pretty much the same. So I was shocked. I said, well, this is kind of interesting because I'm getting the same amount of traffic from this magazine mention that I was getting from my previous one, but there's a ton more people who are actually purchasing. And why is that? So I started to really learn about website optimization and conversions and all of that. And I also learned that if someone comes to my site but the site doesn't engage them or speak to them, they leave. And I would say my second site, it was pretty engaging. I really loved it, but not as engaging as my third website that the designer left me hanging with. And I also learned that the more information that I had on my website that was relevant to my audience, the higher my conversions. And the other thing that I learned is that the easier I made it for them to buy something on my site, the more they actually bought. And I know this is kind of obvious, right? But I'm going to go into more details about exactly what I mean by that in just a second here. But the one thing that this new site did that my previous site didn't do is that my previous site didn't really go above and beyond to create that in-store feeling. Because my audience couldn't feel or try my products, I had to make sure that they sort of had that in-store feeling on my website. And this new website did just that. And this other big difference was that this new website was not about me, it was about my audience. And I'm going to share with you what I mean, or exactly what I mean about that in just a second here. But I want to take you now and just ask you a question. What do you think your site's purpose is? And I know most of us are probably thinking, well, obviously it's to collect leads and sell products. And yes, that is a purpose. However, you're not going to be able to do that unless you provide relevant information, unless you engage and connect with your audience. And only when they feel like they're being engaged with and they feel a connection to you, your product, your story, and everything else we're going to talk about today, that's when you are going to have your visitors take action by collecting leads and selling products. Now, the other purpose of your website is to facilitate your customer's journey, and we'll walk through that in just a second. But in order to do this, everything on your site needs to keep your customers in mind. And Heather, you're saying build a relationship with the customer so they come back. Absolutely. So that's right on it. Doreen, show work. Yeah. So all of these are true. But now let's talk about your ideal customer's journey. So imagine a customer to your website. They probably are going to land on your homepage. So they come to your site, they land on your homepage, and that's where he or she decides if your website is for her or him. And if they decide that it's the right website for them, they're going to want to learn more. They're probably going to go to your About page, and they're probably going to read your story and maybe even your blog if you have one. But the thing that's happening here is that they are actually moving forward and they are taking that journey through your website. If they're on your About page and they're like, oh, I like what I hear or what I'm reading, this is definitely a website for me, then they might go ahead and check out your product. So they're going to check out your shop, look at your product description, look at your product photos, and most importantly, they're going to imagine using your product or wearing your product or eating your product or using it, whatever types of product you have. But your customer or your ideal customer here is really going to think about, okay, how does this product fit into my own life? And if they decide that it fits, they're probably going to take action. So there's a couple of different things that they can do to take action. They can actually add your product to their shopping cart and check out. They can sign up for your newsletter and maybe come back later. They might decide that they have a question and they will contact you. But these are all things that your ideal customer is going to do on your site. And this is what their journey is probably going to look like. Someone's not going to come to your site and then contact you right away without checking out some of the other stuff or seeing if your site answers their questions. So I really want you to think about your own website right now, and does your website facilitate this ideal customer's journey? And if not, well, definitely make sure to pay attention to what I am about to say, because your goal here with your website is to get your ideal customer to go through as many of these steps as possible, because the more time she or he spends on your site, the more likely they are to actually buy. And what usually happens with a website when someone comes on your site, they're probably thinking, okay, do I trust this website that I probably don't know much about yet? Do I trust them enough? And if the answer is yes, then that's probably going to lead to a sale, or it's going to lead to them taking action. So really your website is, yes, it's to collect leads, it's to engage, it's to all of those things, provide information that we talked about before right here, but it's also to build trust so that that trust can convert into sales. So does that make sense, everyone? I really hope that is making sense here to everyone here who is listening on live today. So now let's talk about the 5 most important pages on your website. And there's definitely more than 5 that are important, but obviously because we don't have all day to talk about this, I want to focus just on the first 5. So the first one is your home page, and your home page really has to serve a lot of different purposes. It has to answer the question, what's in it for them? Because if someone comes to your if someone comes to your website and they feel like there's nothing there that speaks to them, they're not going to take that journey and go through your about page and your product descriptions and your checkout and all of that. If that's usually where they decide whether your product and your website is for them. And it also has to reflect their lifestyle, you know, and it's interesting because one of the things that I noticed, and I want to go back here to this website. This was my first website here, and as you can see, all of the models in these photos were really young. They were, I think they were all college students, you know, like 17, 18, 19 years old. And it was interesting because this was not who my target audience was. And I didn't know this at the time. I was just looking for, I posted an ad on Craigslist and I was looking for models, but I wasn't really thinking about who should be modeling my shirts. I just thought, okay, these girls look great. The shirts look really great on them. You know, this is gonna be the right fit. But I found later on that actually the people who were buying my t-shirts, they were a little bit older. They were at least 10 to 15 years older than the girls that I had here in my shots, in my photos. So my products didn't really, or my website here didn't really reflect that lifestyle that is so important. So oftentimes someone would come to my site and they might think, oh, this is for, you know, for young girls that are, you know, 19 and 20. This is not for me when I'm in my 40s. So really think about who your ideal customer is, and do your photos and your everything you have on your homepage and also throughout your site as well, does that reflect your ideal customer's lifestyle? And if not, then the homepage is where you can make that change. The other thing about the homepage is that you want to tell them what to do next. And I know this is something that is not intuitive, because you're probably thinking, well, I have navigation menu items out there. People know to click on shop, or they know to click on about, but you also want to tell them what you do next. And Rhonda, you're saying, this makes so much sense with the product photos, and it really does. And June, you're also saying that you just talked about this with someone and you have to shoot more mature models. So that's true. I'm glad you know that now. And Jessica, you're also wondering if you own a standalone site and Etsy, this is more for standalone. Yes, to some extent, but all of this stuff that I'm sharing with you today can also apply on your Etsy for the most part. So don't leave just because you only have an Etsy shop. Make sure to stay on. So here is the other thing that I think a lot of people don't realize, and I definitely didn't realize this with my first site as well, is that even though it's my homepage, it's my website, it's your homepage and your website, it should be about your customers. And I'm going to talk about that, or exactly what that means, in just a second here. But one thing that you can do to really make it about them is to use the word you throughout your homepage. And what this is going to do is going to engage your visitors in conversation and make it more about them. So I want to give you an example with that. So this is from Bell & Cole. They are a UK-based company. They send out these awesome veggie and fruit boxes. But here's a couple of things that I wanted you to notice. So you'll see here that it says, we deliver fresh boxes of organic inspiration to your door every week. So already in the first sentence here, they are using the word you or your. Even though they're saying we and they tell you what they do, they're also saying to your door every week. Then they go on to say, from our fruit and veggie boxes, so you know exactly what they do, you can tailor to be full of things you love, to ethically source meat, bread, milk, and more. So again, boxes that you can tailor to be full of the things that you love. And again, this is really engaging them in conversation. It's making it about them. They're not saying we sell the best fresh organic boxes and we have fruits and vegetables and bread and milk. They're showing you how their fruits and veggie boxes would fit into your lifestyle. So that is the difference. This is how you can really engage your audience and reflect their lifestyle. And the other thing that I was mentioning about here before is the call to action. So on this homepage, now their homepage goes a little longer. It's not just this, but their call to action is to choose a box, because the one thing that they really want you to do after you visit this homepage is to go ahead and choose the box that is right for you. So they're telling you that. They're not just waiting for you to click here on the word boxes or fruits and vegetables or groceries. They are telling you right here in the choose a box that that is what they want you to do next. So I want you to really think about your homepage. Go to your homepage right now if you can, and obviously come back to this training, but go and see, is there a call to action? Is it obvious what it is that you want people to do when they're on your homepage? What is the next step that you want them to do? The other example that I wanted to give you, this is from Bellroy, and they make wallets. So this is their homepage. It's pretty simple, pretty basic. But again, their call to action is shop now. So right away, you know here that the thing that they want you to do next is shop now. And yes, this box is right here up on top. It says shop. But again, they are giving you that call to action with what to do next. And here is how they incorporate the customer's lifestyle and make the page all about them. So they're saying at Bellroy, we help you carry your daily essentials. So again, we help you carry your daily essentials. It makes it all about them. It's not necessarily about the wallets and what's so great to, what's so great about these wallets. They're also saying when you have the right things on hand, it becomes easier to adapt between work and life's adventures. From your morning commute to a tropical downpour, our products let you roam more freely. And again, if I was a customer looking for wallets, I would immediately think, yes, I have this problem of my wallet maybe not working the way I wanted to. And this website right here gives me exactly what it is that I'm looking for. And Gunilla, you're asking if you can have 2 calls to action on a homepage. Absolutely. You can definitely have 2. I would say keep it to no more than 4, but you could definitely have 2. So great question. All right, so I hope by giving you this example, this is really helping. So I'm just wondering, is it helpful when I give you the actual examples here? Because I have more examples that I want to share with you as well. But is this helpful to actually see what other people are doing? And Joe, you're saying, is saying shop now sufficient? Yes, absolutely. So yes, these are great. All right, so let's keep going. That's great to hear. So now let's look at your About page. So this page is often the second most popular page on your website. And I urge you to go ahead, if you haven't Google Analytics installed. If you don't, make sure to do so right after this call. That's very important. But if you have Google Analytics, you might be surprised to find that your About page is often on top. If it's not the second, it's definitely in the top 5 most popular pages on your website. And this is where most of your visitors will go to see if they can trust you. Because remember, you're not competing here with Walmart, you're not competing with Target, you're not really competing with the big brands. You are you're a much smaller company, and competing with those big brands is really not what you're about. But what that means is that when people buy your products, whether you have jewelry or food or whatever product you have, definitely people want to know more about the person behind the brand. So you want to make sure that your About page really builds that trust too. And as I was saying before, when you don't have the same reputation as a larger brand, they really want to get to know the person behind the brand. And did you know that 5% to 7% of your homepage visitors actually click through to the About page? And I know that might seem like very little, right? Because that's 5 people out of 100 or 7 people out of 100. But think about this. Most people come to your website and they usually leave right away. So to keep 5 to 7%, to keep them going and to keep taking them through that customer journey, that is really huge. But the other thing that is even more meaningful is that shoppers who view the About page convert at a rate 30% higher than shoppers who do not see that page. This is crazy. This is it's mind-blowing when you really think about this. And that About page has so much power. And I have to say, I was really nervous when I had my t-shirt business on that first website. I had an About page, but it was really simple. It didn't have my photo. It didn't really have the information that people wanted to know. It was mostly about my t-shirts, and I talked about how they were organic and made out of bamboo and screen printed with eco-friendly inks, and that's all good. People want to know that, but that's not why they want to go to your About page. They go there because they really want to know you and what you're about. So I wanted to show you here another really great example of what I think makes the perfect About page. And this is from SW Basics of Brooklyn, and Adina is the founder. She sells organic and eco-friendly and natural bath and beauty products. And you'll see her on the homepage. First of all, you see her picture, so you know exactly who the person is behind the brand. And if you're worried that maybe this makes your brand seem smaller than you actually are, don't worry about that at all. People are not thinking about that. They're just thinking, oh, this is a really friendly person who is behind this. Let me read more. And what I love here is that she starts off immediately by engaging people who come here. So she's saying, I think you're awesome. So right away, she's speaking to you directly as a visitor to this website. And yes, she talks about her product, but what she does is she starts off with saying, let's see, I'm not going to read all of it. But she's saying, you do want great skin, but you don't want to hurt yourself or the planet to do it. And that's why I started SW Basics, because you guys are awesome. So right away, she is showing the benefits. She's telling you why she thinks you should be buying her products. And the reason for that is because you want great skin, but you don't want to hurt yourself or the planet to get it. And I know many people who visit this can actually relate to this, and this statements right here speak directly to her or to them. She also has her name. She tells you that she's the founder, and then she goes on to tell you about the products, the ingredients, which is definitely what other people want to know about as well. But really, they want to know this part here. How do your products fit into their lifestyle, and why should they care? You're going to hear me talk a lot about why should they care. And the reason they should care is because this is every page on your website. I want you to ask yourself this question: why should they care, and what's in it for them? And I want everything on your website to answer those questions. Oops. And what I love even more about this is that she has a call to action. She actually has 2 calls to action. So her first one is check out the goodies, and you can go ahead and shop. And then the second call to action here is to meet some of their vendors, because to her and to her visitors, the people who make the products and the ingredients and where they're actually sourcing them from are very important. So as you can see, she has 2 really awesome call to actions. And yes, all of these are here too. There's shop, there's our story, there's about, but she's also telling you what to do next, because if someone has scrolled down all the way here, then naturally they want to know what to do next. So I want you to take a look at your own About page and see if you have a call to action there as well. And also count the number of times you use the word you and your on your website. And if you're not, then you know what changes you can make. So the tweak here for the About page is to use the word you and your throughout your About page to really engage your visitors in conversation and to highlight how your products can fit into their lives. Remember, your website is not to highlight, the purpose of your website is not to highlight your products. The purpose of your website is to highlight how your products can fit into your ideal customers' lives. So I think that makes sense to everyone, but it's a subtle distinction, but it's really, really important. And it's the difference between entrepreneurs who have really successful online stores and those who don't. And I'm seeing some questions here. Ashley, I'm seeing your question, so I definitely will come back to these questions soon. So hang on to those. I will be coming back there soon. So the third important page on your website is your contact page. So if visitors go to your contact page, that's great because they either have a question or they want to contact you, which means that they want to take action. So they're already interested and invested in you. Now, hopefully your website will have done a great job of answering those questions, but sometimes there might be a random question that maybe they're not sure about or something that your website doesn't address, and they want to answer that question. And here's the other thing about your contact page. A lack of contact information may indicate to them that you're either not accessible or your website can't be trusted. So I know a lot of you here on the call today are either working out of your homes, or maybe you don't want to share your phone number and you don't want to share your mailing address on your contact page, but I highly urge you to either get an 800 number or just even like a vanity number that forwards to your cell phone or your office phone, and put that there, and get a P.O. box if you don't have, or if you don't want to share your home address. And probably most of us don't want to share our home address on our website. But if you are not putting those two things there, you are really missing out. And it's interesting because a few years ago, I was teaching this in one of my other courses called Product Marketing Breakthrough. And I said, I was sharing this information, and I asked my members to just try it out and see what happens if they put a toll-free number or even a phone number on their contact page. Let's see what happens. And it's interesting because the next day I had a jewelry designer, and she wrote to me. She said, oh my God, I got a 1-800 number from grasshopper.com. I put it up there, and I got 2 phone calls yesterday from retailers who placed orders for my jewelry because my phone number was there. And this is the other thing. If you want to sell your products to other retailers, from my experience, most retailers will actually want to order via phone. So you want to make sure you have a phone number on there. And you're probably not going to get contacted all that often. I share my phone number sometimes on my website. I think I have it there now, and I hardly ever get any phone calls unless I'm in the middle of a launch or something new just came out, but hardly ever do I get phone calls. But the fact that I have my phone number there really builds that trust with my audience. And I want to share with you another great example of what I think is the perfect contact page. And this is from Phone Soap. And the reason I love this is because, first of all, it has their branding. It represents where it says join the clean phone revolution and the guy with the megaphone. That totally is their branding. This is what the brand is all about. And what better way to have your branding throughout your website? Imagine if someone came here and all they saw was the contact form, or all they saw was an email address. It just doesn't have the same impact, and it doesn't build the same trust that having all of this information does. And they also talk about or really engage their visitors here in conversation. So they're saying, we love hearing from you. So again, even on the contact page, the word you is in the first sentence. And then it's also saying, to make our responses as efficient as possible, please pick an email address below that fits your request best. So again, they are asking questions, they're engaging in conversation. And they're also saying, if you still don't see your question, please use our contact form, or contact us by snail mail. Here's also our phone number. I know the reason they're saying, I definitely don't encourage people to say 3 to 4 weeks for you to reply. I know when I took a screenshot, they were in the middle of a huge, crazy Kickstarter campaign, and they had raised way over what they were projecting. So this is probably why they were just not ready for all that influx. But obviously you want to answer your phone and your email and the contact form and all of that within 24 hours, hopefully. So not only they do here the phone number and the address, but they also have a contact form if someone just wants to put their information in there. And they also have a chat box. So there's also a chat with us here. So if someone has a question and let's say they want an instant response, they don't want to email, they don't want to use the form, they're going to click on this little box and chat instantly. And they also have the social media share buttons here. So as you can see here, this page has everything you can ever want, every possible way of contacting this company. And instantly, this builds trust. If you came to this page and you only saw a phone number or you only saw a contact form or an email address, it just does not have the same trust that this sort of more comprehensive and user-friendly page does. So the tweak on your homepage or on your contact page is to start building trust by offering lots of options for your visitors to get in touch with you. Now, most likely they're not going to call you unless it's a retailer. They're probably not even going to send you any mail in the mail. So don't worry about feeling like, oh, but all of a sudden, if I provide more ways for people to contact me, then I'm going to have more work to do. And how am I going to handle all of this? That is absolutely not true. So keep that in mind. Now let's talk about your product description. So if visitors make it all the way to your product description, they oops, sorry, they have the wrong page here. Sorry, one second. Okay, so if they go there, what happens is that they can touch, they can taste, they can smell, or try on your product. And this might be frustrating to them. And they also can walk up to a salesperson and ask them a question. So it's your job to create that in-store feeling through product photos, through your product description, and everything else that is on your product page. So I want to put out or share with you a typical product description. This is what my product description looked like on that first website. And maybe yours looks something like this too, but it just says made from 100% organic cotton in the USA, dyed with eco-friendly dyes, and so on. So this gives people the basic information about my product, right? It tells them exactly what it is. It tells them what it does. But one thing that is missing, and I think you all, if you want to guess here and just type it in, what is missing from this typical product description page? All right, and I think there's about like a 10-second delay. So I'll give you just a second here to let me know what you think is missing. So David, you're saying a person, you, the customer, price. Yes, price is actually right under. This is just the product description. But yeah, so all of you are right. A face, the person, call to action, more pictures, needs to be more exciting, right? So this is all true. So really what's missing here is what's in it for them. Why should someone buy this product? This tells me nothing about what's in it for me. It doesn't tell me how it's going to make me feel. It doesn't tell me how it's going to make me look or what it's going to do for me. It's just telling me what the product is. And oftentimes we don't buy things because of what the product is. We buy things because of how a product is going to make us look, how it's going to make us feel, what it's going to do for us, how it's going to impact our lives, how it's going to make us better, how it's going to save us money, make us lose weight, all of those things that all of our products do. So absolutely, you are all right in here. So it doesn't answer the question, what's in it for them. It doesn't speak to them directly. There is no you right here. And it also doesn't connect or create conversation. There's nothing that's a two-way conversation about this text right here, right? Absolutely zero conversation. You're just saying, here is what this product is. So a little tweak you can make is that your product description really needs to focus on benefits first and foremost. And what do I mean by that? So I know we oftentimes hear about features and benefits, and you probably have heard focus on the benefits and not the features. And you need both of them in your product description, because if you just said, you know, it's healthier for you because you're not exposed to any chemicals, but you didn't tell people what it's made out of or what it does, then that's sort of just half the picture. So you definitely want to make sure that you're focusing on benefits first and foremost, and then you can list all of the features. So here's just a couple of examples, but one of them, for example, made from sterling silver. Maybe the benefit for that is that this product will last longer because it's not going to rust. It might save you money. It looks better. Whatever it is that your products do, focus on the benefits first. And again, as I mentioned before, make sure to stay until the end, because I do have a product description worksheet that I want to share with you that you can download absolutely for free. There is no cost whatsoever. So now let's talk about this ideal product description here. So this is from Bixby, and they make pet treats, I think, for cats and dogs, if I remember correctly. And look at the product description here. It says, talk about a great hair day. So automatically they engage you in conversation. They're saying that their treats are loaded with organic mushrooms. However, that's a feature. But what's the benefit of that feature? Well, organic mushrooms help to support shiny, full body coats. And then they go on to tell you more features, which is the enriching antioxidants, vitamins and minerals, and their proprietary mushroom blend. But again, what's the benefit of that? Well, it'll have your dog looking like they are fresh from the spa. So here you can see this really great product description. It intertwines features and benefits as well. So I want to make sure that you all download that product worksheet. Make sure to stay until the end, because I think it's really going to help you to have really great product descriptions here. So now let's talk about the checkout process. So did you know that shopping cart abandonment is huge? And by huge, I mean up to 80% of people who come to your website leave without buying. That is crazy, 80%. Imagine that. All of this traffic, you spend time and money to get to your website, 80% leave without buying. And a lot of it has to do with your shipping charges and product price, but a lot of it has to do with ease of checking out. And there's even a study by Sales Cycle. And in the Q1 of this year, they said that abandonment rates for retail websites, which is all of you, are 77.5%. And again, that's close to that 80%. And that is just, in my mind, I feel like there's so much we can do to change that. So the 3 tweaks that you can make during your checkout process, the first one is to allow your visitors to check out as a guest. And I know a lot of shopping carts already have this feature built in. You just got to check a box and let people check out as a guest. But here's the interesting thing. 25.6% of people who said they would abandon a purchase if they were forced to register before buying. And you'll see right here this option where it says check out as a guest. So this, if someone clicks on that, they don't have to enter a password. They don't have to create an account. They can just go ahead and check out. And interestingly, when I launched that BigCommerce store finally, it was about 25% of people who would check out as a guest. So this number right here is definitely accurate. Now, I don't know how many of those people would have left if they couldn't have done that, but the fact that 25% actually chose that option, that does say a lot. Another tweak that you could make is to not restrict your customers on one payment method. And I know a lot of us are just first starting out, and PayPal makes it so easy. You just sign up for an account and you put up a button and you're good to go. And I think a lot of people still do pay with PayPal. However, you want to give your buyers, you want to give them an option. So here, you can see here that there's 2 options. There's PayPal or credit or debit card. And interestingly enough, when I had my t-shirt store, again with my BigCommerce website, about 30% of my audience chose PayPal and 70% chose the credit card option. Now, I know you can take credit cards directly through PayPal and people don't have to set up an account. However, that sort of takes people out of the checkout experience. So I would say, if you were to only offer one option, for some reason you decided to only offer one option, I would go with the credit card option rather than the PayPal. But I know when you're first starting out, PayPal makes the more sense because there's no monthly fees, there's no chargeback fees or anything like that. So you can start out with PayPal, but know that at some point, especially if you're getting more than a few $1,000s in sales, you're probably losing out on sales because you are only restricting your customers to pay with PayPal. The other tweak you can make is to add a security seal to your shopping cart. So even better, actually add it to every page of your website. And what this does is that it really helps to build trust with your audience. Once they see this, sometimes they'll click on it, sometimes they won't. But again, as I mentioned before, shopping online is all about trust. And the more of these trust signals, as they're called, the more of those people see, the more likely they are to trust you, and more trust equals more sales. So those are the 5 things that you can tweak and 5 things to pay attention to. But there is one more thing that I wanted to bring your attention to, and I want to make sure, and I'm going to put this here, I'm just going to copy this and paste it. So I've pasted it in the chat box. But I want to make sure, if you want to do that right now, go to this URL, type in your website, and make sure that it is mobile friendly. If it's not, you are definitely losing out on a lot of traffic from your website and on a lot of sales. I think 60% or more of traffic now is through mobile. So you definitely want to make sure that your site is mobile ready and mobile optimized. And if you're not, or if it's not, you are leaving so much money out on the table. You really, really are. So what I want you to remember after we've talked about all of these 5 things is that this is not just theory. I'm not just saying all of these things because I wanted to teach you something. I'm saying it because these are things that I noticed with my own website. When I made these changes, the same number of people were coming to my site, but a much higher number were actually converting. And I used all of these strategies that I shared with you today over and over, and it's really what helped me to sell more than 6,000 bars of soap in less than 9 months when I had my t-shirt business. And I really hope that was helpful, but I'm wondering too, maybe you're here today because you really believe that your products can help more people, and you want your product in more people's hands. How many of us really want that? I know when I had my product-based businesses, I did. I really believed that my t-shirts can make people look better and feel better, and I wanted to get them in more people's hands. Or maybe you're here because you're seeing dismal or little sales on your current website, and I get this all the time. Entrepreneurs email me, I just launched my website last week and I'm not getting any sales, or I've had my website up for a month or 2 months and people are not buying. What am I doing wrong? So if you take these 5 things and just start here, there's other things obviously that you can do, but if you are just starting here, definitely it's a great start. And maybe you're here because you have some sales but you want more, or maybe you want to reach 6-figure sales with your website. I don't know how many of you here already have 6-figure sales, but I know I did a survey recently to all of you who are on my list, and it was, I was actually shocked when I found out, I think it was like 60% of you had under $1,000 in sales in your online store per month. And I know so many of you have great products, as you saw before when you were sharing those in the website. And David, the mobile address is, if you scroll down in the chat, you'll see them, just a couple of names under your question. So those are all there. And I really hope that my journey inspired you to take action and to make these tweaks to your website as soon as possible. Now, don't leave yet, because I still have to give you that worksheet and I still want to take all of your questions. But as soon as you get off the webinar today, make sure to make those tweaks to your website. And also know that it is possible to increase your sales without spending more money or more time to increase your traffic. And yes, there's a place for Facebook ads and all of those, but there's things you can do, because if you're getting all of this traffic but it's not converting, then you really are missing out on a lot. So the obvious question here is, how do you apply all of this great information to your own website? Well, you can apply all of this and learn all about conversions on your own. There's plenty of websites that talk about conversions, or you can have me walk you through this every step of the way. And I came across this graphic and really loved it. And it says, a website without conversion rate optimization is like a car without wheels. It would take you nowhere. And that is really true, especially when it comes to your website. So my solution for this, and this really came as a result of the survey that I did, where all of you were asking for more help with your online sales. So yes, some of you wanted help getting in store, some of you wanted help with publicity, which is the only 2 things that I've sort of focused on over the last few years, but so many more of you, I think 80%, it was like 78 or 80% of you wanted me to do a course on how to sell more on your website. So this is that course. It's called Your Ultimate Online Store, and it's designed to walk you through every single page and element of a high converting website so you can turn more of existing traffic into paying customers. And it is, this is what the members area looks like. But I know some of you are thinking, what exactly is it? So there's 7 video training modules with videos, training videos, just like this one, where we focus on really specific things in each one. There's more than 15 downloadable worksheets and checklists. There's also 6 free bonus monthly live trainings and lifetime unlimited access and updates, because I know this stuff changes all the time and I'm constantly going to be updating this course. And there's also a chance for you to work with me sort of in this format where it's a group coaching call. You get to ask me your question, and then I will answer your question. And I know some of you are saying getting the traffic to your website is the problem. I know that is something that everyone wants more of. So in this course, we're going to have right here 6 free bonus monthly live trainings that focus all about getting traffic. And I'm going to tell you about the VIP level in just a second. But if you upgrade to the VIP level, you also get an in-depth review of your website that is done by me personally, where I'm going to go through every page of your website. I'll highlight what's working, what's not working, and I will make suggestions. And there's also a private VIP Facebook group for the first 3 months of the course where you can ask me your questions directly. So what exactly is in each module? So the first one is all about how to choose the right platform for your online store. So I know many of you already have your online store, and if you're happy with it, that's great. If not, there's a lot of stuff for you to think about as you are choosing a different platform. As you see, for me, I outgrew my platform and I changed it 4 times or 3 times in 4 years. And each time I changed it, my conversions and my sales increased. We're going to talk about the 25 most popular shopping cart platforms. I know many of you were talking about Squarespace. We definitely covered that as well. In module 2, this is all about the 10 most important pages on your website to increase conversions. And we talked about your homepage, we talked about your contact page and your about page, but there's 7 other pages that you should be paying attention to on your website that can also and should be tweaked to increase conversions. In module 3, this is all about how to set up your product pages for success. So I gave you a sneak peek into that just now, but there's other things you can do. We didn't talk about product photos. We didn't talk about product videos, how to use them. I didn't show you really any samples of great product photos and videos. So all of that is in module 3, because really this is where the sale happens. This is where someone decides, okay, I am going to focus or to buy this or not. Module 4 is all about the tech side. So it talks about your shipping rates, shipping providers, how to track inventory, what to do with sales tax, and most importantly, how to measure your visitor behavior and engagement to optimize conversions and increase sales. And I highly recommend Google Analytics. I know some of the shopping carts you're using already have analytics built in, but we're going to walk through what you need to look at, what you need to measure, how to install it, how to integrate it, and everything you need to know about the tech side of your online store. Now, module 5 is all about SEO. And I know we haven't talked about SEO yet, but this is really the best way that I know to get traffic, because, and I know traffic has come up a lot, but if someone types in inspirational jewelry or organic cotton baby blanket, you want your site to come up. So what are the things that you can do to drive that? Because search engine traffic is really the #1 source of traffic. So we're going to talk about all SEO and what you can do, and I'll give you really specific examples. Now in module 6, which is also something we haven't talked about today, is how to grow your email list. And this is so important because I might as well say that without an email list, you don't have a business. And the other thing that came out of the survey that I did that I was mentioning earlier is that most of you have, or I think it was 62 or something like that. 62% of you have less than 100 people on your email list. And I want to change that. I want to help you grow your email list. I want to help you figure out how to use your email list to drive more traffic and to really grow your sales. Module 7 is also about how to use your blog. And some of you might have a blog, some of you might not, but this is another great way to get traffic to your website. And we're going to talk about the reasons why you need a blog, the pros and cons of hosting a blog on your website versus hosting it elsewhere. I know some of you have a blog on your site. Some of you are hosting it maybe on Blogger or WordPress or a different platform and are not sure if you should switch. We're going to talk about what to blog about. I know this is something that many e-commerce entrepreneurs struggle with. So I'll give you ideas and I'll really walk you through all of that. And this is one of my favorite sessions, which is the bonus training. So every month, once a month for the next 6 months, you are going to get a live training. And it's just like this one. It's an hour long where I sort of walk you through this live. And this is all about how to drive more traffic. So it's traffic through publicity and working with bloggers. It's how to use social media like Instagram and Pinterest. Sometimes I'm going to have guest teachers who are going to come on. We're going to talk about social shopping sites and affiliate programs. So this bonus training that is going to happen once a month for the next 6 months is all included. And I know I can charge for this separately, and I have before, but this is all going to be included. So how much does this cost? So let me put things in perspective a little bit here. So if you were to hire a designer to do your own website, it can be anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 for the project and more. If you were to hire an SEO expert, which you probably won't need to do after I walk you through everything, that's anywhere from $500 to $1,000 monthly. And they usually want at least a 3 to 6 month contract. If you were to hire a copywriter to write your product descriptions, that usually starts at least $1,000, and not to mention the cost of actually losing all of those sales from your existing traffic. So this program, Your Ultimate Online Store, has 2 levels. The self-study is $497, and that includes all of the course modules. It includes everything. It includes more than 15 downloadable worksheets, 6 free bonus monthly trainings, and lifetime unlimited access. Or you can upgrade to the VIP level, and that includes all of the course materials. It has a Facebook group where you could interact with me and other members directly. It has a personal website review by me, and it also has 3 Q&A group coaching calls, again, where you can jump on, ask me any questions you have. And there's also payment plans available. So for the self-study, you can do 3 payments of $177, and the VIP, you can do 3 payments of $367. But the big bonus that I wanted to mention is that for all of the action takers, you can save $100 if you enroll during the live training. And I know I mentioned this on last week's webinar as well. I haven't offered a discount in over 2 years at Launch Grow Joy on any of the programs or courses that I have offered. So this is something that I rarely do. So if you want to take advantage of that, now is the time. And obviously the course does come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not happy with this, let me know. Show me that you've done some of the work and it's not working, it's not making an impact, and I am more than happy to give you your money back. So here's what I want you to do now. If this speaks to you, if you feel like you want to move forward, you want to optimize your store, you want to really take things to the next level, go to yourultimateonlinestore.com, and I'm going to put this here too. In the chat box here, and go, oops, I forgot the URL here, 1 second. All right, so there is the URL. Go ahead here and choose the level that makes the most sense for you, whether it's the VIP or the self-study, whatever you feel like is the right fit for you, go ahead and choose that. And once you choose your level, you're gonna go here and have this payment plan, and you make sure to enter that code, which is save 100. So, and then click apply right here to save $100 on the program. So the course starts on October 26th. You'll get access to all of the training except for the weekly training or the monthly trainings that are the bonuses. And you also can go at your own pace because you have lifetime access. And I know since many of you, I think almost all of you, have stayed on until the end. Here is the URL. I'm going to copy and paste this as well here, where you can download the product description worksheet. And this is really going to be helpful. I think whether or not you sign up for the course, this is going to be one of those worksheets that is going to come in handy over and over and over again. So the code number again is SAVE100. And I'll give you a second to go there. And I want to go now and see what are some of the questions that I missed. So if you can just give me 1 second so I can look through these questions and see the ones that I might have missed. And then we can just go ahead and get started here. All right, so let's see. Okay, so Sharice, you're saying, where do you see the links? So the links are in this chat box. So right where you are doing this. Also, if you click on pop-ins, I think you can go right there as well. Or you can just go ahead and type this into your browser and you will be able to get to the links. Okay, so Shirley, you're saying, what's the URL for the product sheet? Oh, sorry about that. So I also posted it in the chat box. So if you scroll down a little bit, you should be able to see it. But it's bit.ly/product description. Okay, so Rhonda, your question is, you mentioned the amount of money that you have to spend in upgrading your site. What is the basic amount that one should spend, or an amount if there is a cash flow that one should consider spending? So honestly, Rhonda, that's a great question. I feel like you really don't have to spend a lot. If you use something like BigCommerce or Shopify, you really can get started for free and you just have to pay a monthly fee. And I know for some of you, I'm going to type in here my Shopify discount code. I do Shopify and BigCommerce are the two shopping cart platforms that I always recommend. And I set up a deal with Shopify. So let me just type that in here. There you go. And that'll give you 15% off their monthly prices, and that's at shopify.com/launchgrowjoy. And I'm going to put in my link for BigCommerce as well. There you go. So you can check both of those out. Joy, you're saying that WordPress is free combined with WooCommerce. And really, yes, Shopify and BigCommerce if you really don't even need a designer. The reason I hired that designer for $2,500 to work with Shopify is because I wanted a custom theme and I wanted things to look a certain way on my website, but you absolutely can get started without a designer. So I hope that answered your question. David, you're saying, if you want to enroll today but need to discuss with a business partner, will the discount still apply? You know what? Yes, I don't want to pressure anyone, so I will definitely be happy to extend this to tonight if some of you need more time. So that is absolutely fine. Thank you for mentioning that. All right, so let's see more questions that you have. Okay, so Cass, your question is, do you provide editorial calendars and contacts as part of your service? So as of now, the editorial calendars and contacts are part of my other service, which is Get Media Happy. So this is a completely separate thing. That is a monthly membership program, and this is just a one-time fee. So this is, because they're two completely separate programs, the editorial calendars and contacts are not part of this. Oh, Ganilla, so nice to see you here. You're saying you're so worth it. Just got it. Great. I am very excited to work with you and everyone else who is enrolling. I see Aisha, I hope I'm saying that right. I know we've talked by email. I see that you have enrolled as well, and more of you are coming. Let's see. Ashley, your question is, what if you have a website through Squarespace, but you're using a third-party company like Teespring to sell your stuff until you get enough capital? So I think that's fine. I've known people who do that with much success. The only difference is that if you're using something like Teespring, your margins are going to be a lot lower. And what I would recommend is that you still keep people on your website if possible, instead of sending them to Teespring. I don't know if you can just work it out so that people can still check out and shop on your site, and then you send the order to Teespring. I'm not sure if that can be done, but even if that can't be done, there's still stuff. People should still start out on your homepage. So there's still plenty of things that you can do here to increase those conversions. Hillary, you're saying you missed part of the presentation. Will it be available to view? Yes, I will be sending a link. Doreen, your question is, you mentioned a downloadable worksheet. Where can that be found? So that is it's right on the screen right now in case you're not able to see it, but it is at bit.ly/product description. And if you scroll down, I put it in here in the chat box here as well. Okay, Lisa, do promo codes apply to installment plan? Yes, they do. Let's see, and if for some reason I missed your questions, because there's a lot of conversation going on, if I missed your question, go ahead and type it again. I want to make sure that I do get everyone's questions. Okay, so Victoria, you asked a great question in the beginning, and your question was, you're wondering about visitors who enter via a product page. Are they likely to click through beyond it to the homepage and about page? Yes, usually they are. Usually it's rare that someone will come to the product page and shop without looking around through your website. So yes. Oh, Tiffany, great question. Does it matter if we write about page from first person or third person? So I prefer, I think you have much more of a connection if you're writing first and second person, because that way you can really engage in conversation. But it's kind of hard to write in third person and engage in conversation. So I'm a huge fan of first person on your about page and on your website. Okay, so Lisa, your question is, do you need a contact page, and can it be someplace else on a page on every page? So I think if you want to do both, you can do both. So I think you should have your phone number on every page of your website, but I also think you should have a separate contact page that people can go to, where they can have all of this information in one space. Okay, so let's see. So Kristen, your question about security seals is about security seals. So you're saying you missed the security seal details. Is there a place to download the images? So you can actually download the images whether you're using PayPal or Authorize.net or Stripe or Square. They all give you their own security seals. So go to your own purse or your own credit card processor, and you can get those from there. All right, so let's see. I'm still going through some of the questions. So Rhonda, your question was, is this for any type of website that sells anything? Right. I mean, I can use this if I have a nonprofit or for-profit business. So yes, if you have a website where you are selling something, whether it's a book or a physical product, and this can even apply to services, although the course is mostly focused on products, this course will definitely benefit you. Okay, so Susie, your question is, what if you sign up and you can't do the whole course? Well, you have lifetime access, and you can do the course in your own time. So you don't need to, you don't have to do it right then and there. You can do it in your own time whenever you feel like you are ready. All right, let's see more questions. Okay, so Sigrid, your question is, do you have to set up your own online store by yourself, or do you offer help with that? You know, that's an interesting question, and that's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, because the courses teaches you how to do it yourself, so you don't need to pay someone else to do it extra. But I have been thinking about trying to offer a service where I do it for you. So as of now, I don't have any details on that, and the course really teaches you how to do it on your own. And with something like Shopify or BigCommerce, you really don't need someone else to do it for you. But I'm getting enough requests that I'm actually considering doing that. Okay, so Jessica, great question. Is there a way to see real websites that are hosted on the different platforms, Shopify, Weebly, etc., to really get a feel for how they work before trying it out? That is a great question. And yes, if you go to, there's two things I would recommend. So the first one is to sign up for a free trial and sort of do the back end and see how you like using it. And the second thing is to go to Shopify's website, Weebly's website, BigCommerce's website, Squarespace, and they usually have a showcase of some of the sites that run on that platform, and click through to those sites as well, and you can really get a feel. Okay, Lilith, your question is, can one start with the self-study and then upgrade to the VIP within a certain time period? Yes. So if you want to start with the self-study and you want to upgrade later, just send me an email. You'll have my contact information once you sign up, and that is totally fine. Okay, let's see more questions here. Okay, so Barbara, your question is, you've recently started with Etsy. What do you know about Amazon Homemade Market? I think it's Amazon Handmade Market. So I don't know much about it, other the fact that you can sell your handmade products on Amazon, which I think they're sort of trying to compete with Etsy. And yeah, I haven't used it. I know some people who have, but unfortunately, I can't speak much to it. Okay, so Jill, your question is, which of these sites give you the most freedom for design? So great question. It's interesting because I feel like every platform has its own pros and cons. And for example, something like Squarespace has really beautiful templates. They look really, really great, but you can only use Stripe to take payments. And I know Stripe's fee is 2.9%, plus I think like a 30-cent fee. And I know you can get rates, credit card rates that are much cheaper than that. I think for my credit card, I pay maybe 1.6% or 1.5%. But the Squarespace templates are really beautiful. Now, I know something like IndieMade. I don't know if any of you are using IndieMade. Their they only used to let you check out with PayPal, so that was a limitation. But you don't have as much flexibility over design. I know with Shopify and BigCommerce, their out-of-the-box templates are really beautiful. And you can also, there's a ton of Shopify experts or designers who you can hire to customize those for you if you want. So it just really depends. I think my advice would be to say that there is no platform that works the same way for everyone, because everyone has really different different things that they're looking for in their online store. And what I need might not be the same thing that you need. And it really just makes sense to try it out and see for yourself. But I would say in terms of freedom of design, I would say that Shopify and BigCommerce are the ones that you really can customize really well. Oh, and I'm just looking, this is so exciting. Quite a few of you are signing up. So Kristen, welcome, and Gunilla, yay, I'm very excited to work with you. And Sharma and Aisha, welcome to your ultimate online store. I'm really excited to work with all of you here. And I know more of you are signing up as we speak. So I wanna go ahead and answer some more of your questions here. Okay, Barbara, is there a way to upload files from Etsy to Shopify? That is a great question. I think there is. I'm not sure how. I haven't done it, but if you reach out to their customer service, they can definitely walk you through that. And I want to put my link again down here, because if you do go with Shopify, make sure that you use my link to get 15% off your monthly fees as long as you are a member. So yep, so it's shopify.com/launchgrowjoy. Okay, Jessica, great question. How long after making these changes until we start seeing conversion? So it really depends. Sometimes things like SEO can take a few months to actually implement, depending on the keywords that you are trying to rank for. So for example, if you're trying, let's say, and I'm just making this up, but just to illustrate, if you're trying to rank for the keyword blue silk bracelet, right? That might be a lot less competitive than trying to rank for silver bracelet. So if you're trying to rank in Google for blue silk bracelet, that might happen a lot sooner than if you're trying to rank for something that's a little more competitive. So it really, really depends. I know sometimes you can see changes overnight. I know for me, when I had my t-shirt store and I updated my about page and added my photo and made it a little more personal and added an opt-in box on my about page, I got emails the next day from people saying, oh my God, I can definitely relate to your story. I just bought 2 of your t-shirts for my mom. Or the customer that I was working with, and she added her phone number, her toll-free phone number on the top of every page. And within 24 hours, she got 2 new sales from wholesalers. And those were a few $100s in sales on the spot. So it just really, really depends. There's no, I guess, time frame that I can tell you, oh, it's going to happen overnight. But some things can change overnight and some things might take a little longer. Okay, Jill, your question is, since it's a lifetime membership, may we sign up even if you have already begun? So the course actually starts on October 26th, so it has not began yet. There's still a few weeks before the course actually starts. Okay, Lilith, your question is, are there selling platforms that you would especially recommend over others for selling teas to a couple of very narrow markets? So I would have to say I've tried a lot of different online platforms. My 2 favorites continue to be Shopify and BigCommerce. And I used to only recommend BigCommerce, to be honest, in the past. But the more I started looking at Shopify and I decided to try it myself, they are so innovative. Their designs are so great. They let you to set up shop on Facebook. You can even buy from Pinterest and Twitter through Shopify. And I just think that all of the features that they roll out, they really are cutting edge and they're ahead of any other shopping cart provider out there. So if I had to pick one, I would say Shopify. If I had to say, a couple you can look at, BigCommerce and Shopify. But I know a lot of people who use Squarespace and IndieMade and Artfire and a lot of the other ones who are happy with them. But I found that for me, I outgrew those. Once I started having 6-figure sales, I was outgrowing the other shopping cart platforms. Oh, Jessica, another great question. If we're not available to answer the phone during the day, should we bother putting a phone number up? Absolutely. And the reason why is because, as I was saying before, most people are not going to call you. They are just going to trust you more and believe you more if you have a phone number up there. So even if you can answer the phone, have people leave a message and you can get back to them as soon as you can. But I definitely think you should put it up there. Okay, so Janet, great question. Does this program qualify as part of your affiliate network? Can affiliates promote it? So I have not officially opened the program to any affiliates. However, I have had other members of my past courses reach out to me to be affiliates, and I'm happy to do that. So just send me an email, Janet, and I'm happy to send you the affiliate link. Thank you. All right, so I'm seeing more of you join. So Judy, Angie, Lisa, Mug, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Forgive me for saying the name wrong. Welcome to your ultimate online store too. So we still have about 10 minutes for questions. So let me look through some of the questions that I might have missed. Okay, so Jessica, a helpful or a follow-up question. Should we mention that we won't be able to answer the phone, but when we call them back, I would just be worried that if they did call, they would be frustrated. You can try and see what happens. Maybe if they call on your voicemail, maybe you can say something like, we're away during normal business hours making our products. Please leave a message and we'll get back to you within 24 hours. But if you know for sure that you can't answer your phone, maybe you're away making your products, or maybe you have a full-time job or something, and you can't answer the phone, yeah, let people know that. But let them know that on the voicemail when they call. So let them know when they can expect you to get back to them. Okay, Hillary, what time are the classes going to be held? So I have not determined yet. Usually it's going to be in the mornings or afternoons. So probably something like 9 a.m. Pacific, or and any time, usually I would say between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Pacific time. And all of the classes too are going to be recorded, so you will get a recording of the classes. So even if you miss it, you still are going to be getting that recording. Okay, Tiffany, your question is, if you want to try out Shopify, do you recommend using it for wholesale page to make it easier for buyers to order, or to use it for retail customers? So I actually recommend both. And in the course, we talk about how to set up your wholesale page as well. And I know with BigCommerce and Shopify, they have features where you can have both your retail and wholesale customers order from the same website, and they just see different pricing. So I definitely, even though it's interesting, because with my t-shirt business, most of my retailers, I would say 70 to 80% of my retailers, if not more, would place the retail orders by phone or by email or by fax. But it's always great to have that option. So what they would normally do is they would log into my site, to their wholesale account, look at what they wanted to buy, and put everything in their shopping cart, and then take a screenshot of their shopping cart and email me the screenshot or fax me the screenshot. So I don't know why they would do that, but you want to make it easy for them to order in any way that is the easiest for them. So definitely I would recommend giving them the option to sign up and purchase on your website as well, both wholesale and retail. All right, let me look through some more of these questions here. Okay, so Doreen, your question is, do you feel horizontal web buttons on left side are outdated, or should buttons be on top of the page? So, it's, I don't know specifically, but I know navigation is a lot easier when it is on top of the page, and I think most people are used to seeing it on top. So, however, if you do like the horizontal web buttons on the left, I would do a test and see what happens. So maybe for 1 month, keep all of your buttons on the left, and for the next month, keep them all on top. And then you can compare and see which month had not the most traffic, but which month had the highest conversions of people actually buying. So it just really, you kind of have to test it out and see. So David, how long is each class? So it really depends. So some classes or some of the modules have 3 videos, other have 7 to 8 videos. Some videos are maybe 10 minutes, others are more like 30 minutes. So it really does depend on which module. And however, before you begin each video, it does tell you how long each video is going to be, and you can also pause and start the video. And there's also a checklist that you can download that shows you which stuff you've completed. So I try to make it easy, but in terms of time, I haven't calculated everything because I'm still creating the last module's content. So once that's done, I can add up everything and see how long everything takes. But as of right now, I would say there's about 3 to 7 videos in each module. Okay, Jessica, your question is, you have Weebly right now, but it's missing a lot of features that I want. However, I really love the template. If I switch to Shopify, is there a way to bring over the template? So I don't think there's a way to bring over the template unless you hire a designer to make it look just like that. However, I also know that Shopify has really great templates, and you might be able to find a template that looks very close to what it is that you have now. All right, so let's say we have about 3 more minutes for questions. Any other questions? Let's see. So I think I've answered all of the questions that have come in. If I, for some reason, missed your question, can you just type it in here? We do have a few more minutes. I want to make sure I got everyone's questions here. But if I missed it, I do apologize. It was just so many questions. Okay, so David, thank you for chiming in. You're saying you switched from Weebly to Shopify, and your designer managed to make it look very similar. So it can be done. Thank you for sharing that, David. All right, anyone, last call for any more questions. And it can be questions about the class or the course, questions about your online store, questions about anything we covered today. If there's anything that I still need to go over, or if you're wondering about anything else, please let me know. Let's see, well, I am not seeing any more questions come through. So I guess with that, we can close out. And I want to thank you all again for being on the call and being here today, making time for your business and investing in your business. And Jessica, there is no time limit for upgrading. So you can let me know whenever you are ready to upgrade. So yeah, if anyone has any other questions, feel free to email me. You already have my email because you got the notification for the webinar. And I do accept PayPal for the course. So you have an option when you check out to either do PayPal or to pay by credit card. So for everyone who has joined, Cisco and Hillary, and I'm seeing so many other names here, Judy, Angie, thank you so much for joining. I can't wait to work with you. And I'm hearing from many of you that this was great. Thank you so much. So I'm so glad it was great. And thank you so much as well. And Lilith, if you're not seeing that option, I will just send me an email and I will help you out. Because I'm seeing quite a few people paying with PayPal. So I know it, okay, so I know what's happening. So Lilith, you can only pay with PayPal if you do the full payment plan. So if you choose the 3-part payment plan, unfortunately, PayPal is not, doesn't work with that. So if you want to pay with PayPal, you're going to have to do the one-time payment. So that is how that works. Unfortunately, I wish I could set it up with PayPal that way, but the way it's set up, they're just not letting us do it. So, all right, everyone. Well, thank you again so much for being here today. I will send you the replay within a few hours of this call. And I so appreciate you all being here today. And I am very excited to work with you if you decide this is right for you. If not, I am looking forward to seeing you on the blog and seeing you on the podcast. And for those of you who have to talk to your business partners, that's totally fine. I'm happy to extend the discount code for a little bit longer. So I look forward to working with you and seeing you on the blog and on the podcast. And until next time, have a great day, everyone. Bye.